From the Front Range of the Rocky Mountains in beautiful Colorado, it is Monday, October 12th, 2020, and this is Truly News. I am your host, Jason Van Sickle. Hello and welcome. I hope that you had a great weekend and that your day is starting off well. As you go through the day today, here is a thought to consider. We are all busy and time is limited. So we often have things that we wish we could work on but can't find the time. Maybe it's cooking, learning an instrument, taking up art, studying a subject, or studying for a new job or career. It's hard to find that time to get started. However, what if you set aside 10 minutes a day? That adds up to 60 hours a year or 600 hours over the next 10 years. Imagine what you could accomplish in that amount of time by simply putting aside 10 minutes every day. Well, it's something to think about. For now, let's take a little time to get smarter and better informed by reviewing today's news. As always, we start with a look at the top headlines from across the country. From National Public Radio, Judge Amy Coney Barrett is set to give a glimpse to her judicial philosophy as her Supreme Court confirmation hearing begins in front of the Senate Judiciary Committee today. Barrett is set to say in her opening statement, quote, "Courts have a vital responsibility to enforce the rule of law, which is critical to a free society, but courts are not designed to solve every problem or right every wrong in our public life. The policy decisions and value judgments of government must be made by the political branches elected by and accountable to the people. The public should not expect courts to do so, and courts should not try." Unquote. The confirmation hearing is moving ahead under exceedingly unusual circumstances, with Election Day looming and a coronavirus outbreak still affecting Washington. And from the New York Times, cash floods in as Democrats chase control of Senate. Senate Republicans' pledge to quickly replace Justice Ruth Bader Ginsburg on the Supreme Court has enraged the Democratic base, and donations have surged. And from the Los Angeles Times, California braces for another heat wave this week. After a brief reprieve of cool temperatures over the weekend, Southern California is expected to get hit with another heat wave this week that could bring periods of elevated fire risk for the state. And finally, in our look at the top headlines, here are the stories that are crossing the wire at Reuters News. White House now seeks limited coronavirus relief bill. After receiving resistance, the Trump administration on Sunday backed away from a large stimulus package Trump announced last week and called on Congress to pass a stripped-down coronavirus relief bill using leftover funds from an expired small business loan program. Also from Reuters, Democrat Jamie Harris smashes Senate fundraising record with $57 million. Harris of South Carolina raised a stunning $57 million in the third quarter of 2020 in his bid to unseat U.S. Senator Lindsey Graham, smashing the quarterly record for a Senate candidate. The previous record was $38 million. And the final article from Reuters, man killed at dueling Denver rallies. A man was fatally shot on Saturday during dueling protests by left-wing and right-wing groups in downtown Denver, and police arrested a suspect they said was working as a private security guard hired by the television station to provide protection to its crew. And those are your top headlines for today. To put us all in a better mood after those headlines, we now present our top 5 joke countdown. As usual, bringing us the countdown is my friend Billy Cunningham. Billy is a comedian that goes by the stage name Potbelly. And here's Billy.
Thank you, Jason. From my studio here in Sweetwater, Appalachia, this is Billy Pop Potbelly Cunningham. By the way, for those of you who live in Bandana, Kentucky, on October 23rd, I will be performing at the Piggly Wiggly pork-flavored coffee bar and comedy club. I hope to see you there. Now, on to our jokes. My intern Penny is handing me the joke cards for today. She gets these jokes from Reader's Digest, and as an up-and-coming comedian, she often rewrites a few to make 'em even funnier. So, let's see how she done. And, looking here at the cards, it looks like our category for today is corny jokes. I thought all the jokes we did were corny. Oh well, here we go. Number 5. This first card says, how does a Hawaiian laugh? Answer, a low haw. Oh man, that was bad. Oh jeez. Number 4. 2 ships collided. One was carrying a load of red paint and the other a load of blue paint. In the end, all the passengers were marooned. Oh boy, these just keep getting worse. Do we keep going? What, Penny? They get better? You promise? Okay, let's try another one. Number 3. Do you know what stinks about a pirate ship? Answer, the poop deck. These are so dumb. They're so dumb, they're funny. Anyway, we gotta keep moving. Number 2. When I got my change at the coffee shop yesterday, I noticed that one of the pennies was different. Well, look at that, I exclaimed. It's an old wheat penny. Really? Said the barista. Can I see it? Sure, I said, handing her the penny. She took it and weighed it in her hand, then turned it over and over several times. That's crazy, she said, handing it back to me. I thought that all coins were made of metal. Okay, that one's all right. An indictment of our educational system, but funny. Oh, and your number 1 corny joke of the day. I went to the sports store the other day to get a pair of shorts. When I walked in, one of the teenage employees said, "Can I help you?" "Well, I'm looking for some jogging shorts," I replied. He got a real serious look on his face, and then he said, "Well, we have a section of shorts, but it's labeled running shorts. Would those be too fast?" Well, those are your jokes for today. I'm glad that we had a little time together this morning, and I look forward to our time together tomorrow. In the meantime, be kind to each other, be good to yourself, and keep on smiling. This is Billy Potbelly Cunningham, signing off. Over and out.
There you have it, folks. Billy and his top 5 countdown. Thanks, Billy. And now we return to the news. From the world of science and technology, an article from National Public Radio. Influencers in space. Astronauts prepare to receive cosmetics and a new toilet. Astronauts on the International Space Station are preparing for a fun delivery, a skincare serum from the cosmetics maker Estee Lauder, as well as a new toilet. The astronauts will be using the toilet, but according to Robin Gaydens, the acting director of the International Space Station, the astronauts won't actually be using the advanced nightly repair skin formula from Estee Lauder. Instead, the plan is to take photos and videos in space of the $105 per bottle serum, which will be used by the company for advertisements. This is a part of NASA's new focus to commercialize their space program and find sources of revenue. Estee Lauder is paying roughly $128,000 to have its product photographed in space. Also, in science and technology news, from CNET, it is time for Amazon Prime Day and the launch of the new iPhone. This week is the annual Amazon Prime Day, which kicks off on Tuesday the 13th and lasts through Wednesday the 14th. Also this week, Apple will be holding a virtual event at which it is expected to unveil the iPhone 12 and possibly other new products. And our final article from Science and Technology, Engadget reports that Google has launched new breakout rooms for small group discussions on its video chat platform, Google Meet. Huge online classes can be overwhelming, not just for teachers, but also for students who learn better when interacting with others. To help solve that problem, Google has launched its new feature called Breakout Rooms, which will give educators a way to divide participants into smaller groups during video calls. At the moment, the feature is exclusively available to Enterprise for Education customers, but the tech giant says it will be available to more users later this year. And those are your science and technology headlines for today. In health news, Harvard Health recommends that you reinvent your walking routine. Switch the type of walking in your routine to stay motivated and active. Putting one foot in front of the other is a simple way to trigger a cascade of health benefits. Regular brisk walks help lower bad cholesterol, control blood sugar, and reduce the risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, stroke, and diabetes. Brisk walks also strengthen muscles, burn calories, and lift mood. But walks can be boring. So here are some ideas for breaking up the monotony. Try interval training walks. Walk for a certain period of time at your normal pace. Then time yourself walking at a faster pace. Use a pace that feels comfortable, but definitely speed up the pace for periods during your walk. The variation will be better for your health, and it will keep your mind off of how long you have been walking. You can also try mindful walking. Use walking as an opportunity to become more mindful. Really be present in your walk. Pay attention to what's going on around you. Think about what you're feeling, like the breeze and the sun on your body. Be more observant of the things that you see. And spend some time really listening to the sounds around you. Or, if interval training and mindfulness walks aren't your thing, then try social walking. Find a walking partner that you can talk to. Or, if a partner isn't available, use the time to make calls and get caught up on conversations with family and friends. Whatever method you use, definitely make time to get out and get some exercise. It's good for your body and your mind. And from BBC News, COVID-19 virus survives on same surface for 28 days. Researchers now say that the coronavirus can remain infectious on surfaces such as cash, phone screens, and stainless steel for up to 28 days. The findings from Australia's National Science Agency suggest the virus can survive for far longer on surfaces than previously thought. And that is your health news for today. Now, we take another break from the headlines for today's Words of Wisdom. To present this segment is Dr. Albert Feinstein, my philosophy professor from college. And here is Dr. Feinstein.
Thank you, Mr. Van Sickle. Hello, and welcome to today's Words of Wisdom. Today's Words of Wisdom are from the ancient Greek philosopher Socrates, who said, "Be as you wish to be." So, What does that mean? Well, think about your habits, lifestyle, fashion, behavior, and other personal choices. Many times we look and behave in a way that conforms to our present circumstances and not with who we want to be. So, Socrates is saying, become the person you want to be. Decide who that is and make the conscious effort to become that person. Don't let life continue to shape who you are. Shape your own identity. It is a choice that you can make. And those are your words of wisdom for today. Until next time, keep seeking wisdom and believe in your incredible potential. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Feinstein. We appreciate your words of wisdom and your encouragement. Now, we return to our review of the day's news. In entertainment news, we start with new movies, and today's movie is The Doorman, starring Ruby Rose and Jean Reno. This movie falls into the categories of action and thriller. And here is the description from IMDb. A woman returns from combat and befriends a family in New York City. A gang of thieves plots to take the family's valuables, and she is all that stands between them and their lives. The Doorman is now available for rent on YouTube. Moving on, we look at newly released shows. And today's show is Monsterland. This movie falls into the categories of drama, fantasy, and horror. And here's the description from IMDb. Encounters with gothic beasts, including fallen angels and werewolves, leads broken people to desperate acts in an attempt to repair their lives, ultimately showing a thin line between man and beast. Monsterland is now showing on Hulu. Finally, in our entertainment news, we take a look at newly published books, and our book for today is Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass by Lana Del Rey. This book is presently number 4 on the New York Times fiction bestseller list. Here is a summary of the book from Amazon.com. This is a highly anticipated book of poetry from Lana Del Rey. The Atlantic says Lana's first book solidifies her future as, quote, the essential writer of her times, unquote. The collection features more than 30 poems, many exclusive to the book. Violet Bent Backwards Over the Grass is now available in print at your local bookstore, and it is also available in print, Kindle, and audiobook formats on Amazon. And that concludes our entertainment news for the day. As always, we end our broadcast with a look at what we call Happy News, and here is your Happy News story for the day. From WSIL News Channel 3 in Jefferson County, Illinois, a story titled Hundreds of Volunteers Give Back to the Community Through Small Acts of Kindness. In May, Central Christian Church canceled the day of community service that it sponsors every year. There was just too much uncertainty about COVID, and no one yet knew how to safely interact in public. However, 5 months later, the church decided to give it another try now that people understand how to socially distance and protect themselves with things like masks. So, on Saturday, they finally had their annual day of community service. And this year, more than 300 volunteers showed up to spread out across the county and perform acts that put other people first. Volunteers spent the entire day from sunup to sundown working on more than a dozen projects. They included making meals for first responders, picking up trash around communities, washing cars and changing oil for free, doing laundry for those shut in, and even building beds for children in need. Jared Lacrone, head of the event, told Channel 3 News, quote, "We know that we grow best as people when we are serving other people. And that is your news for October 12th, 2020. Have a wonderful day.